What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Cypher Trapwires and I'm just gonna go right into it with the new ones. All the old ones are still working and they're still pretty good as well. But here for B-site, starting with Ascent B-site, you see these two and there's some more you can do, but in general those are the two ones I like the most, and then the other ones I'm very situational. For A-site, this is a new one. This is extremely good. Very difficult for Sova and Race to clear it if they send out the utility in the middle of the choke point, and if enemies are jumping over it, you can use the old one, which is the same but a bit longer, and then you can play around with the rocks here. Quite a few trapwires you can use. I like to use these two if I need some variety, and then combine it with one that goes to generator, because maybe there's a jet dashing or enemies walking to the lever for the door. And yeah, if enemies are shooting that, you can place that one. And then there's some you can place on the site as well. In general, it is extremely good. This one here is the one I'm talking about on gen. And I like to do this one if enemies are pushing me hard and I play in hell or I play up heaven or behind the bricks there. Then for garden, you can use this one. And I like this one a lot more than the old one that you just place on the wall to the doorway, because enemies can't hear it. And they can't just clear it as easy. Also gives less space than this one. This is the old one I meant. So yeah, enemies, they try to push in, bam, can't. Also don't have to worry about them jumping over it or crouching under it. Next up is B market. And for this one, it's good if you're playing on site or if you want to wall bang. Not as good if you want to play in market, because enemies will see you very early, and not the best position either. So you wall bang through that spot there, and pretty easy to recognize it as well. And yeah, you just see enemies. Might not always be super easy, but it's a good variation. Then if you're attacking and you're pushing B, meaning that you're going to B, not the other way around, this one is very good because it's earlier than the old one. However, if you're not pushing B and you're pushing mid, you're pushing A, or maybe not even caring about the B, then you go for this one because it offers more protection. Now to bind. We have a lot of new tripwires here for A short, and yeah, you see them right there. Just like that. Bam, bam, bam. 3 new ones there. We have some on the teleporter. There's a lot of new ones on the car. There's many different ways you can use the teleporter. I just mix it up however I feel it in my games. Then for the car here, you can place them in the tires or in between the tires, as well as on the edges of the tires if you want diagonal tripwires to the box behind me on the site there. So try out everything. Like, try out everything. These are just examples of what you can do. Like, literally millions of new, maybe not millions, but there's a lot new tripwires. Then for B-site, this one is great for the choke point. And there's a specific reason for that, because enemies can hear it if they're here. However, they cannot clear it. And if they are on the other side, they can't hear it and they can't see it. So it's very difficult to clear it. Next up, we have sand traps. So I already placed out some here and I'll show you how they go. You just place them on the sand and you place cages on them. You can play on site. You can play on the other side here, elbow, or this corner here. A lot more options on B-site, and I love it. Remember that if you place deeper trapwires, you have to also go around the corner. I used to do a sand trap like this, much more shorter before though, and then a tripwire over there. However, now you can get away with this one because of the length, and also enemies don't hear it as easily when they're jumping out of the window. So you place just cages, and yeah, you wait for the enemy, pop it, and shoot him. Very easy. Next up is hookah, and we have this small vase that you can place a tripwire behind. That goes like that. However, this will get triggered by a bot or just be jumped over if you don't have a a steady eye on it. So you can place a tripwire like this, or you can do the old one that's on the cushion over there as well, and it's still gonna be lined up like this, but it's good for the headshot location, and it forces the enemies to clear it on the left side, because if they walk through here on the right side, they get triggered. And on the left side, they expose themselves to the headshot location. For Breeze A site, there's a few new ones, mainly these two for the pyramids. And I focus on the tripwires before the shields go down because enemies can hear them otherwise, and you kind of lose the surprise factor if you place tripwires after the shields have gone down. So yeah, if enemies are shooting out the first one, you can do the second one. Then we have one for when enemies are coming from mid, and normally I would go with that one. However, if you place it out there, pretty much like on Ascent, yeah, much more difficult to clear it. And then one for nest. Finally, we have a good tripwire here as well. And yeah, of course, enemies can jump over it with the rocks on the left side. However, in order to see where the tripwire is, they need to walk close to the walls. And then they can jump over it. But that's when you can have a camera that you set up relatively safe, and you can punish them from nest. For B-site, a lot of improvements. I really like B-site a lot more now. There's the choke point here. Very difficult to clear this. Very difficult, but enemies can jump over it, so keep that in mind. And you will have a camera up there in the corner somewhere, you know, that you can see enemies. No aggressive cameras needed, just go for defensive cameras. And then for the tower here, you just place tripwires however you want, and that's the beauty of it. You can add a lot of different variations just on the fly. You don't really need to be precise, think that much, you just go for something, and that's the added layer of thinking for the enemies. Now, they have to deal with that, not you. For B-site, attacker anti-flank, this will, well, on attack side, I would place this one. However, let's say that I don't want to wait for the shields to go down. Then I can go for a tripwire here. This is good if you just want map control. And maybe you're lurking mid while your teammates are A. So if anyone's pushing B, you can turn around, kill them, and bam. For fracture, starting with A site, on the stairs here, a very far up tripwire, you place it like that. Yes, and now enemies can't just jump over it, and it's much more difficult for them to push out without having to slowly walk in and clear it. Then for the anti-flank here on fracture, normally you would think, oh wait, maybe I can trap there, but you can also jump over it, so it doesn't work to trap like that. And there's also the rock here, so if you're attacking, you want to stop people, place it here instead. This is the better position, and I really like this. This is very nice. This is really nice to have, and not very difficult to line up either. Next up is B-site. There's not much in the choke points on B-site. However, site has a lot of new tripwires, and you can just place them however you want. Yes, it's very good if you're playing shotguns, if you're using combo abilities like a race nade or something. And yeah, you can punish people very, very fairly. Next up is Haven. And on Haven, I would recommend using these old ones that are just in ramp and then use a smoke as well. I really like to use those. But when they are getting shot out, maybe cleared easily, you can go for these weird ones. And you just place them however you feel, really. What feels right for the moment. And every game is different, you know. But some of them, like this one, the long one here, are very good, seriously good, regardless of the game. Because enemies do plant on the boxes a lot, and they need their cover. And that's when your tripwire can be there and you can wallbang people. Yeah, even there. But remember that if you use all the tripwires there and leave it open, you need to have something like a camera or smoke, or you just move a tripwire like this. B-site didn't have anything new, so we're moving on to Garage. And on Garage, you place it here, and that reduces the chance of getting wallbanged, of the trap getting wallbanged, like this one, because sometimes enemies, they use their gun to check the box behind here to see if there's an enemy, and yeah, by accident, yours can be wallbanged. Then for C-site, tripwire like this, then a tripwire there. Like on A-site, you can mix and match however you want. There's a lot of different possibilities. I generally want one for the choke point, and then the second one for the site or garage or whatever. It depends really. I sometimes have a teammate in garage and I skip the one on garage. And yeah, just add whatever flavor you feel like. The one on the doorknob is very exotic as well. Next is Icebox, which unfortunately haven't gotten that many new traps. And yeah, these are two that I like a lot so far. And then we have one for the rope as well, which you place on the box or up in the roof if you feel like it. And it works in the middle area as well, where people stop sometimes here, K and G. You just place it on the ending of the N, and yeah, you got it. For B-site, we place it here. And this is in the middle of the box, because we don't want it on the edge of the box, since it can get wallbanged. And it stops enemies going in there, compared to the old one that goes like that. So, what does this do compared to the edge? Well, enemies sometimes check for defenders on that box, and yeah, we'll make it survive longer. For the anti-flank tripwires, we have this one that's new, and if you're pushing B, not pushing B, it's great because nobody can jump over it except, you know, Jet and using abilities. But if you're pushing, not pushing B, the old one is faster because less time is spent aiming and so on. So yeah, faster. For mid, you can use the old one or this one here. It takes a bit of time to line this one up if it's the first time, and it's a bit troublesome to line it up sometimes. However, when you do get it off, it's great, and practice is needed on that one. Then for A main, we have this tripwire here. Instead of the old one, you can place it on the doorway here, and it prevents trapwires from getting shot out by operators or a chamber holding a headhunter or something. Moving on to Pearl, I've placed some traps already. It might feel overwhelming. However, this is just so it's easy for me to remember when to record, because these are very specific spots, and all you have to do is just use the leaves and move around. You can play with different angles however you want, and it's a spider web here. It's very difficult to push in on A. But for A art, that's a whole different story. A art is very basic right now. It's like this. Yeah. I think Pearl B site is the biggest upgrade for Cypher with this buff, especially because of these boxes here. You can see trapwires placed everywhere that you couldn't before. You cover default plants, you cover backside like this, and no just 1 or 2 wires anymore. You can use almost 20 new different wires just on this corner. And yeah, place one there. You can place one on the box, you can place it on the doors, you can place it pretty much anywhere really. On the wall here, that's a simple default trap. This one works every game if you want to use that every round, because it forces the enemies to check it with either utility or shooting it. And yeah, if you want to go for something different, you can use the door here. You have to be a bit more defensive with your positioning then, because yeah, enemies will shoot you if you peek before they run in. And also mask them with your cages. But keep in mind that if enemies are nading specifically to destroy your traps, you can go for the wall traps a bit more often and switch up things so that they have to think a bit of where they clear your utility.
That goes there.
And that's all, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you've been enjoying the new traps. Let me know how it goes for you in your games. And if you have any traps or setups or cameras or anything that you want to show me, head over to our subreddit r/gosapeak and post them there. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you liked the video, comment as well, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.